Hello, everyone. This is Yonks with REtoken, the Real Estate DAO, and this is our ambassadors working group. And hanging out here on a Saturday afternoon, it is 3 Eastern time. Well, I guess technically it's 3:15 because we've been firing up this live stream about 15 minutes after. And joining us on the live stream today, and I'm going to just go through this list, and I don't know if it's in any particular order, but we have myself, Blursday, Crush, Dax, Mayor, Poopster, and Tyler. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for hanging out here. This is what I believe is going to be a very important component of REtoken, the Real Estate DAO, as far as laying a solid foundation to have some enormous community growth in 2021. And well, 2022, 2021 is almost over here. We've only got, I believe, 4 more weeks before it winds down. So here is the Google Docs behind the video thumbnail that we've got. And thank you, Blurs, for volunteering to do some timestamp keeping on things. So this is one of the things that wanting to improve or enhance the replay value on our content that we're creating, especially this longer form content, because we actually have 2 hours allocated for this, and we're just 15 minutes into this. So the thoughts is that we can go back and put some timestamps into this, and then also just do a better job adhering to the agenda. And I'll be completely transparent. The agenda is very, very light here for today. And this is the Trello card. I'm going to zoom out here, go full screen, close this, and show everybody Trello real quick. Trello, for those that don't know, is the tool that we utilize for getting all the things done and keeping track of all the things here. And side note, Mrs. Yonks and I and a couple other people, Amy was also there on Clubhouse on our Saturday morning book club. And this is something that I'm going to do a better job, including REtoken, as far as being able to participate on that, because the audiobook that we're going through right now is getting things done. But that's a tangent to the conversation. Here is the Trello board that we have for today's card. And like I said, the agenda is very open here. This is one of the things that wanting to explore during this is really what we would and capture is really what we would all like to see in an ambassador program. And one of the things that we had, Amy and myself, and I can't remember who else was actively involved in that, was a Trello card for researching ambassador programs. So I did want to show real quick that this here is our REtoken improvement proposal number 8. This is the one that we ran through our official governance process. And let me open that in another tab while I'm talking about that, because that's, I think, worthy of mentioning as well. So let's take a look here. So this one just closed up fairly recently. This is the corresponding Trello card. And it might be even easier just to take a look at our snapshot. So snapshot is the governance tool that we use. It's utilized by a lot of other DAOs and projects in the crypto space, and it's at snapshot.org. This is something that we put in place during the Decentralized Governance Hackathon that Gitcoin hosted in late August, early September here earlier in 2021. And I'm going to go ahead and connect my wallet here. Let's see, my yonks.eth, so that it's got the spaces favorited. So here's REtoken, and you can find that just by doing a search for REtoken. And the improvement RIP number 8, RIP 8, this is the one that talking about that's relevant to today's conversation. And as you can see here, everybody unanimously said this was a very simple vote. And then like the precursor to this, just to provide everybody some additional perspective. And on this one, we had 7 people vote on this. And here is the channel on Discord that we use under the text channels category, voting proposals. And we do a thread for most of these voting proposals. And this is one that was back here. So anyway, that's just a little backstory as far as the ambassadors program, and coming back to the agenda here. Let's go ahead and open it up. I went through the list. I think Teresa joined us, so welcome. That was the only person that had joined since I went through the participation list. So talking about the ambassadors program, I wanted to turn it over to Amy. This is something else that I mentioned on our research for some ambassadors, and I wanted to allow Amy some chance to share with the group what she discovered as far as her ambassador research, and then I will share after she concludes what she found.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of an errand right now, but I will get back to you about that in a minute. Thank you, Jason.
Okay, thanks for that. So there's still some additional opportunities, like one that's relevant is Energy Web Org, and they have an Energy Web Token, and this is something that I've spoke about here in Discord. I think if you do a search for EWT, can probably find that. And let's see, I do have a thread on that here. So this is one that I created a thread. So this is another opportunity that shows up here that has an ambassador. And this is one that may be, I believe, even a DAO partnership opportunity, or as we're building out Token Town, Colorado. So this is one that if somebody is interested in personally going further down some ambassador programs for some firsthand experience, I'm also personally going through the ambassador program at BitDAO. BitDAO very quickly through a large endowment from Bybit, is from a treasury valuation standpoint one of the largest DAOs, and this is one of the things that they're trying to improve some of the communication, and there's an increased focus on developing an ambassador program. So that's something that I'm currently going through myself. Another one that kind of personally showed up on my radar is Nexo. Crypto.com is another one that has an official ambassador program. So those are some of the ones that I focused on in my conversation and thoughts. I think I actually did go through the process with the Akala, but I wanted to open it up here. I'm going to go on mute, allow anybody else that wants to chime in on some thoughts or some of the personal experience as far as any official ambassador programs that you've been involved in here recently or over the course of your life that may allow us to leverage that experience here for developing our own ambassador program.
I can go first. Can you hear me well?
Yes, go, all you, Mayor.
Yeah, so I'm part of ambassador program in REtoken DAO, and so they have weekly community calls, and they're also finding one mechanism to keep track of all the contribution and like rewarding them. But like I am helping them to organize their first IRL event in Chicago. So the good part is I have good relationship with the NFT gallery host, and he's all in to develop the culture in Chicago for crypto related developments. So already there are people who are visiting those spaces. So even if we are organizing a new event, we don't need to like face struggle in gathering people. There's a lot of interested people in the space who will attend those events. So in case you guys plan to organize IRL events, like collaborating with those kind of crypto developments can also like get a lot of uh, people who align the vision in the space of your events. And I was thinking like I'm also very interested in like um, doing like the technical part. So in Chicago, if REtoken wants a representation in a conference or a real estate meetups, I'm happy to share the vision and like create awareness and maybe find possible partnership in those opportunities. And like, yeah, I know the NFT gallery owner very well, so we could also organize some community events over there.
Yeah, no, love the opportunity there. As we mentioned, Mayor, on our conversation the other day, Mrs. Yonks and myself, we have geographic interests in Chicagoland as well. One of the properties that we are a real estate investor of, that's a rental property for ourselves that we've contemplated and had many conversations over the last several months as far as tokenization opportunity. And the on the screen here is meetup.com, and this is something that we have already on the REtoken roadmap. And let me open up the roadmap here. So for those that haven't seen the roadmap, this is the roadmap that we've got on Trello. And right here, and let me make this where you can see it a little bit better. So this is, and this is one of the things, I think I actually had this as an item to do during our core team call, but it probably makes more sense to do it here, is actually moving, because I already talked about the REtoken improvement proposal, RIP number 8, where we add it to our roadmap. So let's actually just go ahead and swing that card over here right now from, I think it was on a completed list here. And this is another thing that I would like all of us to continue to think about while we're developing the ambassadors program, but then also we have been having our white paper working groups. Our 5th working group is going to be held on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And right now, that's one of the things that we're having some conversations on, as well, is the roadmap. So here's the card that I was talking about here. So let me move this little guy right here, move to the roadmap, and we'll put it there. I don't know, we'll put it closer to the top. Let's see where that looks like, position 2. So go back over here to the roadmap tab. Oh, and it's not quarter. This, let's put it over here. So let's actually put it right here under the meetup, because this is one that we're talking about. So it's not quarter 3. We want it under quarter 4. So I just mentioned our white paper working groups. We've got the and I don't have the Discord event created yet, but that's one of the things I'll get done here this afternoon at the completion of this working group, is get the white paper working group. But it is on the REtoken Google Calendar. And let me just go off on that tangent real quick and show that here in a tab for everybody. And in our Discord, the events, this is our Google Calendar is linked right here. That's one of the things. And then the events channel is where you actually can RSVP for the events. And one of the things, little bonus tip here, this is a pro tip, we have been rewarding bonus REtoken for those that RSVP. And one of the things that I like about the Seshbot is that you can't RSVP or change your RSVP after the event has concluded. So it makes it a nice, easy way for us to provide some extra incentives, because one of the things about that is that the RSVP mechanism here is social proof. And like I see that DSign RSVP'd no. So even though that he's not able to be here, we want to recognize his acknowledging that this event and whatever his reasons were for not being able to be here, but he's still going to get a bonus REtoken. And this is one of the things that we're trying to communicate. And this is a tangent, but it's one that I want to talk about because that's one of the ways that we reward. And I see that we've got some chat live stream participation. So further down, see what I did there. So thanks, Blur's Day, for the live stream. If you're watching our live stream, please chime in on that, and we will kind of keep an eye on that here. So getting back to the ambassadors conversation. So I'm going to continue to share experiences as far as through the ambassador, like my personal experience. And this is one of the things that I'm still and open for feedback. I love hearing feedback as far as ways that we can do things better. Live stream is a key component of our REtoken strategy. And on the ambassadors, like one of the other opportunities that we've got for REtoken, the ambassadors program, is leaning in. Like right now, we've got the Mighty Networks, our 14-day, 2-week trial just started a couple days ago. And I think that that is a tool that we can really like foster some culture around to really create some autonomy for ambassadors where they can kind of create their own local group and run their own local meetup.com group. And then I think that that's something that we can facilitate and foster very easily within Discord and also through Mighty Networks. So just wanting to put some thoughts surrounding tools, because we have had lots of conversations around tools, but we will continue to have lots of conversations around tools, especially here in season 0, because like we, and I've said a lot and will continue to say, and this will become even more apparent as we are working on forming some teams here in December. And this is another opportunity for ambassadors specifically. And let's talk about this. And if you want to do a timestamp here, Blurs, we're going to shift this conversation over to Coordinate right now. So it was a couple Sundays ago, maybe even a month ago. I can't even remember exactly when it was, but Blurs, myself, and I think Mrs. Yonks were the only participants on that core team call. And we're like, hey, let's just go ahead and get Coordinate in place. And Tyler and I had some good conversation with DSign yesterday. I think I need to connect my wallet. So let me go ahead and do that right now. So we do have some initial circles in place on Coordinate. I am definitely not a power user on Coordinate. I'm learning how to do this myself. One of the preliminary usage scenarios that I've had with Coordinate was with Creator DAO. I know that Poopster has had some experience, and I know that your experience, from my understanding, Poopster was not as what I would say categorized as super positive, but I would love to hear your thoughts on Coordinate and anybody else too that wants to chime in on Coordinate here now on our working group call.
No, I actually had very little experience with it. I just said it didn't fit what we were trying to do at UMA. So yeah, I didn't, I don't even really understand it, to be honest.
Okay, awesome. That's some good. So I'm starting to understand it a little bit. I participated functionally in my first give allocation for, ironically enough, it was the Coordinate. I think that was the final epoch for Creator DAO. And full transparency, Poopster and myself are founding 100 NFT holders of Creator DAO, Citadel, which I had a Twitter thread about yesterday. You can take a look on my Twitter thread, is a current client of Creator DAO. That's relevant to REtoken because CitaDAO is a blockchain real estate tokenization opportunity. They're looking to do their first tokenization situation in January 2022. And this is another thing that I kind of just want to plant a seed for consideration, because I am very confident about the foundation that we are building here and the position that we're taking with a community first approach. And like that's evidenced very largely in our roadmap, where I think we've got one or two things on our roadmap for quarter two. Two things. So the first one is our developing an NFT-based fractionalized real estate certificate program. I really believe that taking an educational approach will pay off in the long run. I even tweeted yesterday about being on Proppy.com, their crypto certified agent webinar that Natalia hosted. So it's my belief that, and I think that us taking a content and community first approach for real estate tokenization while we're working on developing our own real estate tokenization process will pay off in the long run. So that's a little bit of a tangent as far as the ambassadors program. Wanted to go back here. I see the tab, and we're talking Coordinate. So let's go back to Coordinate, because the circles. So here are 4 circles that created for REtoken: core team, dev team, content team, and ambassadors. And so one of the opportunities that I don't have on the schedule, and this is something that I think can and should make a decision about, is scheduling on the tail end of our core team call tomorrow a 1-hour Coordinate session where we can lay the foundation, because I would really like to start utilizing Coordinate here next week. And really, because and this was kind of the conversation that I had with Design. And let me make sure that I saw a Zoom user pop in here. I don't know if we lost Amy, but anyway, so yeah, here Zoom user is back. So there, I think as far as implementing Coordinate, that has to be done in a couple phases. I mean, we created the circles. That was functionally, I think it took us like maybe a half an hour or something like that. And let me show you what it looks like here on the admin, and this is on the core team. So the way that it works is pretty simple. And like right now, for us to do an epoch, and let's go to the one for ambassadors, because I don't even know if I have any. So I've got Blurs, Mrs. Yonks, and myself on here for admins. So going back to the thought, what is everybody's thoughts as far as having a dedicated Coordinate tools conversation at the tail end of our core team call? So that would be at 4 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. And let me bring open the calendar so that everybody can look at that and visualize that on the calendar.
Well, I would be available.
Well, let's do it. That's enough confirmation. So I'll put that out there, get that added, because I don't think that I even have the core team call scheduled. It's on the, and this is again just to show the importance. Look on the Google Calendar. That's the main thing that getting updated, and I'll get the events added here in the events channel for the core team call on tomorrow, and then the Coordinate breakout. And I'll send some or go through and add some people that are in the ambassadors that are on the ambassadors conversation here today, and assume that everybody wants to be involved in this. And I don't know what things are going to look like just to kind of paint some expectations, or like from a framework. I think like doing 4 weeks, and this is week 48 now, so 49, 50, 51, 52. So that would wind out the rest of 2021, give us 4 weeks, and then kind of, and where I was going with that is having some type of token budget to go along with these circles. So I was thinking 250 REtoken, and I'll put forward a proposal, but I'm just wanting to put this forward very like in a way that you can kind of think about it between now and tomorrow. And one of the things that I'm going to work on getting in, I'll communicate this in the Coordinate. We've got a Coordinate thread here on our Discord. So this is something that I'll add: reward distribution tools for DAOs. And I'm going to ping ambassador team. So this is a new Discord role that created in support of the ambassadors program. So this is speaking about this during our working group, which is live currently. So there's the Coordinate, and that's where it's relevant here, because and I can't remember if I've said this while we're live. My expectation in 2022 is the ambassadors program that we're going to create will probably be the best opportunity for people to actively contribute and earn REtoken in 2022. Now, that being said, excited to see what we can create through our content team. And that's the thing where we've got a lot of needs and opportunities to deliver on value added content. And I don't know what that'll look like. And that's, where those conversations can unfold in the content team. So that's as far as like from a tools standpoint. And the other, so we've talked about Coordinate here for the last, I don't know, however long. And then we've talked a little bit about Mighty Networks. So let's shift and lean a little bit more heavily. Before I do that, does anybody want to chime in on the Coordinate conversation?
Does anyone have any experience with it on the call at all? Or
I do.
Oh, okay.
With the super omens, we used it for, it was like a couple week trial we did, and it worked pretty well. And the results that we got were the results that we expected to get. The only issue, I guess, that came up was that if people are doing like truly behind the scenes work and nobody knows that they're doing that, then, obviously people don't know about that, so they can't reward the other users. But it worked out for the most part.
And from a scalability, so I think like implementing Coordinate, there's getting the habit of doing the gives. And I'm a huge proponent, and this is evidenced pretty clearly in the way that things are structured throughout the way that I structure things, is like operating on a weekly basis. So I believe that that's, so looking at doing some weekly epochs here in Coordinate, and like what I was talking about as far as the 250 REtoken on a per circle team basis. So as far as like successfully implementing Coordinate, there's the habit of giving out the gives, and
did he freeze for anybody else or just me?
Me too.
No, he's frozen.
Yeah, we
Can you
lost
guys
you,
just-
Yonks.
Is it back now?
Yeah, back now, but we lost probably about 10 seconds.
Okay, so there was quite a bit of content that was created by the creator DAO team for Coordinate that's super fresh, like within the last 30 days, super fresh. And that's one of the things that I'm wanting to summarize. So the way that I understand things from a very high level perspective, Blurs, is like, so we're getting ready to start, like this week is winding down. Saturday, it's a weekend. Sunday, it'll be another weekend day tomorrow. So like when you operate starting on a Monday, the weekday, so that would be like the start of our epoch. And then we would have a budget of gives. So you have to allocate that to the people that are participating in the circle. So like on the core team, the people that are participating in the core team, you know, and then based upon their contributions, you might give somebody more because they contributed more. So, and where that's going, like from, it's a little harder because we're not doing a lot of activities outside of our live streams right now, but my expectation is that that can and should change. And I don't think that Coordinate will be necessarily the only tool that we'll be utilizing for doing rewards distribution. But the way that we've been doing our current REtoken distribution has been very painful for me personally, which is one of the reasons that I'm wanting to see a tool like Coordinate put in place. Because while it's something that needs to be done, like the airdrops and the manual rewards distributions and stuff like that, it's been very, very painfully manual for me. Some of that, thankfully, Tyler has been helping from a participation and a secretary standpoint. Amy has also been helping with the POAP administration, and Dax getting the DGen bot put in place, because all of those are components in creating successful events and doing that consistently. So that's kind of like the for Coordinate, and like really what I could envision longer term, like when we really get our ambassadors program humming and churning along, is that we might have like Mayor that's running a Chicago local group. He might have his own weekly or monthly budget of REtoken and run his own REtoken ambassadors for Chicagoland, for example, where he can foster his own community and subculture within REtoken. And you know, that's the kind of scalability and flexibility that we can create here through a tool like this. And I don't think that this will be our only tool that we look at utilizing. Like, and my expectation is that there's only going to be a watershed of DAO tooling that will be coming out in 2022. I mean, because we're so early with DAOs and DAO tooling, and like DAO House is something that we might want to put on our radar from a DAO and tooling standpoint. So that is and using it here, like with where we're at with developing the ambassadors program. And like one of the other things that I'm wanting to put on the calendar, and this is kind of in line with the poll that we had for this working group. And let me show that real quick, because that's another fun thing for anybody that may be watching this replay that we kind of do sometimes, is do a poll. And this is one that we polled. There wasn't a whole lot of participation in this. This is one where we had, and this is the poll that I'm looking at, and the detailed results. We only had, well, I think there was a total of 8 people that participated in. And one of the other tools that I've started using a little bit, and I don't know if it's one that we'll want to utilize here, but Let Us Meet. I don't know if anybody's had any experience with Let Us Meet. And I was wanting to, I don't know why that it, I wanted to look at the detailed results, but it was struggling giving me that. So here we go, the detailed results of the poll. So it's a nice little pie chart, but where I was going with this on Monday, this time frame that we have here on Monday, is I was thinking that it would be good to have a conversation with content team. And this is another, besides content team, the other team that we've got represented on the coordinate circles. Let me go back. I might have lost it. Let me see if I can find it here in my extremely long list of windows. And so I think I saw a message come in on the live stream. No, I did not. So anyway, the lost my train of thought there. Oh yes, the schedule. So one of the thoughts, and let me just do this new tab here on the coordinate. So ambassadors, content team, dev team, and core team. So we have our core team call on Sunday at 3 Eastern time. And then the opportunity of breaking out and having more conversation about content, like this is, I think, the biggest opportunity and need that we have is creating solid content on some type of interval basis. We've done an amazing job where we have basically contentized our live streams, our community call, and like this working group is creating content for us, and the opportunity of putting a nice little bow tie on that and some written channels. So that was hoping to get that on the calendar for Monday at 7. And one of the things too, while we're ramping up here and developing more teams, I know that everybody has other commitments, and I'm actually actively encouraging people to participate in other DAOs as well. I know and have indicated that I'm personally participating in other DAOs. So that being said, I'm going to put the content team on the calendar for Monday at 7. And like some of the other opportunities that we've got are the Token Town, because wanting to have more conversations about Token Town, and talked about the task force. But let's bring it back here. Went off on the tangent with Coordinate and the ambassadors team and these other teams that we're creating here in December. Let's bring it back to the ambassadors. So we've had, some people have talked about the ambassadors experience, and let me see who all we've got on the call right now. So, and let me see, I would be curious. Do you want to share with the team, Teresa, what your experience has been as the Fibery regional chair? I don't know if you're able to talk where you're at right now. Okay, well, keeping the conversation going. I would love if Teresa's available here during the second half of our ambassador working group. Well, that's technically not an ambassador. I think it's got a functionally a similar type of process. And one of the things too, let me actually show the content. And I was hoping that Blackfire would be able to participate, but his timing is in, oh, and I do see something here on Proppy. So there's that. So Teresa did pop in on the Proppy chat. So going back to our ambassadors, would like to open it up here as far as, and this would be a good timestamp blurs, would like to open it up to see what people would like to for us to create as far as benefits, because like this is something that from a human psychology standpoint, I really believe that all of us are constantly asking the question, what's in it for me? So the opportunity for us to clearly define the benefits of participating in the REtoken Ambassador program that we're talking about developing here. So let's hear what some thoughts are on some benefits.
Well, something that would be really nice is to start everybody on the same page. I think a lot of people are joining this community. They don't know what it is. They're curious. Maybe they heard one of us talk about it in some other context. We're getting a lot of new people. We're already up to almost 250 people in the server, which is wonderful. Super excited to have all them on board. But we're getting this huge range of experience. Some people, we're their only, or I don't have any, I'm in a lot of servers. If I don't have any mutual servers with somebody, then that's usually some indication to me that they might be a little bit newer. And one of the things that I want to make sure is that people feel welcomed. I've been sending everybody a welcome message as soon as they get here and trying to invite them into the community, but to have that more formalized and to invite people in would be really helpful.
You're on mute.
I saw. Thanks for that. I was fishing. I need to find out what the keystroke is. I'm a huge keystroke.
Well, if you're typing at the same time, it doesn't work really well. But what you could do is you could use space as push to talk if the application is active. But since you're jumping around across different applications, I would probably just get a mic button. You know.
Do you have any well, I have a hardware button, but that I can use. The thing that I don't like about that though is that it doesn't send the signal, and
right.
And one of those usage scenarios is Clubhouse, and I don't want to go off on the Clubhouse tangent conversation right now, but I did add the section here, ambassador program. I'm going to make this a headline, heading 1, and what are the program benefits. So if we had to summarize or put that in a bullet point, Tyler, what would that bullet point be that you were wanting to capture with that previous thought?
Well, kind of 3 things. One is I want to be an internal ambassador for REtoken, or create an internal ambassador process so that we're all welcoming people. Well,
let's break that out, because I think that's really good, because I think that needs to be characterized and defined in some manner, because the opportunity for somebody to potentially be like what you said, an internal ambassador, but they may not feel comfortable, compelled, want to be anon, whatever the case may be, that they may not want to be a REtoken local ambassador and run their own local meetup groups. So I think having some different ambassador buckets, and I don't know if that's a good way to label it, but open for or tag or whatever.
Yeah, I love the idea. I think absolutely a tag, a POAP or an NFT or a whatever. Let's give these people some rewards for doing that. So my thought was kind of internal ambassadors or whatever name we come up with, but somebody with that function, or a group of people with that function, who their job is to engage the community, reach out to people we haven't heard from in a while, kind of touch people every so often. I don't want to be annoying, but I do want to. I've been in a lot of servers where I join the server and then it's a fire hose, and then maybe somebody sends me something once and I'm so lost. If somebody reaches out to me, I would really start engaging, but I don't know who to talk to all the time, and I don't always want to tag moderators because I know they're busy, that kind of thing. So just having internal ambassadors, I think, would be really a great role for somebody that likes doing it online and they don't want to, host happy hours, that kind of thing. The second role would be external ambassadors to experts, and then external ambassadors to newbies, or again, these titles don't need to be that, but I kind of thinking of like, I kind of think of like Poopster and me as polar opposites on, he's going to these conferences and you youngs are going to all these conferences and you can talk the language and you know all this stuff. I feel super comfortable in the business community. I would absolutely walk into a real estate happy hour where nobody knows what a crypto wallet is and can talk to these people in that way and get them interested in what we're doing. So those to me are kind of two different expertise of, are you an expert in business and you want to be in that, or do you want to be an expert in the crypto space and reach out to those people, whether that's online or in real life or whatever. But those were the three categories: internal, external to crypto familiars or crypto experts, and then external to the business community of newbies.
So I'm making some notes here and broke that
Can I
down.
make a comment on that one? If
Go
you don't
ahead,
mind it?
Amy.
I don't think if we're building a community, we need to separate them. I don't think that it's a good thing when nobody knows what's going on the other side and nobody knows what's going on the other side. If you are going to have somebody reach out, you don't have to be an expert to talk to people. It doesn't work like that. You just have to be warm and inviting and open. I've technically, when I was doing the POAP, I would send messages to people, inviting them, asking them, we miss you. We hope to see you on the next meeting. And that sort of thing is what people are looking for. The talk about, how do you say this? The talk about, uh, how should I say that? The technical stuff or the business stuff, that could be hashed out when we are all together. Because, like me, I'd like to learn about the techno stuff, even though I'm not techno. I'd like to learn, part of the business stuff. And I'd like to put in my 2 cents in if I have to. And these are the things that I would think needs to unite the community and not separate them. That's all.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think my thought was, and yeah, I do really like where you're going with that. My thought on that was, some people feel very comfortable walking into a crowd of strangers in real life or going to happy hours or going to reaching out to the community, not the Discord community, but like the actual community. And some people don't. So I didn't want to kind of set an expectation that maybe it's just internal to the people and people that are more committed to being outside, or maybe that's, you don't want that separation either. But I was just trying to set some expectation for people of what would be really helpful to the community if they were doing, so they know what they're signing up for. So if somebody thinks they're sending Discord messages and we want them to go to real estate happy hours in the community and meet people, that kind of thing.
I think in that effect, you should have a person or a team that welcomes them in Discord if that's our main communication. And whoever is our ambassador out there should just relay the information in on what's going on. Kind of like, hey, I got two guys we just met in Chicago. Welcome them to Discord. Things like that. It's just a coordination and a communication. And I understand some people don't want to be out there meeting people, and some of them want to do an internal, just saying hi to the newbies or leading them. Because I invited a Filipino, what you call this, developer in one of the talks in Clubhouse. He signed up on our Discord, and of course the time zone is different from back home, so he was probably fast asleep while we're having our meeting. But I told him, go ahead and introduce yourself and read, go through everything we have gone through. And those are the kind of personal touches that people really want to feel when they come join a community. Because remember, we're building a community. And these are the things that they are looking for, even though these are probably just techno people or introverts. These are the things that makes them feel warm and welcome. That's all I have to say.
Could that be more of a like an onboarding thing, that when new people come in, that somebody welcomes them? And
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's what
that's
I said. They should be a welcome team to do that. And also, if you're out there being an ambassador, your communication to the welcome team is very important.
yeah, and I that's where kind of was going with this various ambassador roles, buckets, definition, or just putting some and let me go, because I think that we're functionally all in agreement on that, and this is just a means of capturing our thoughts, because and I don't know what it's going to look like as far as really defining, like from a workflow standpoint, because like we're also looking at adding in the mix another opportunity here with Mighty Networks, and that can add additional. But I don't know, like it seemed like that there is a little concern in your voice there as far as from a separation category, and I'm not sure if there was something that you were picking up on that I may have missed, but I think we're all tracking in the same direction.
I think if I misunderstood it, the way I understood what is saying is that there should be a technology group, a business group, and a regular group. That's what I thought. And so if I'm wrong, then that's great. I'm just expressing what I thought would work for us the same way Mrs. Young's expressed hers. That's all.
Well, I mean, people naturally and organically work in a team's manner. So, like when we're talking about creating teams here in REtoken, the opportunity of because like one of the needs that we have now to create more scalability is having and giving people the opportunity that want to lead some various teams, and whether that's like a dev team or a content team, or the opportunity of being a local ambassador and being a local REtoken ambassador lead. And I think that that's really like what we're talking about here, is to create some operational, because from a scalability standpoint, there's some number, and I think it's around 6 to 12. But when you start getting above that number, and like right now, we've got 9 people on our working group, which is a very manageable number. But if this number had like 100 people on it, the opportunity of actually agreeing upon and moving things forward. So the ability for us to create and have some synergy where we can scale this on a local and a global basis, and create a framework that we can do that in, is I think really kind of the direction that and the foundation that wanting to lay here. And I think that that's something that we can do with the ambassadors program as far as how that we create it. So I don't think that we're talking about like creating any separation or seclusion, and we're just wanting to leverage the existing tools, and like this meetup.com. And let me go back to that tab here real quick. This is a framework that we don't have a whole lot of experience in. I've been a meetup participant for over a decade. Like this is a group that we haven't done. I don't even know if we've held any local events for the Colorado group. And when was it, Tyler, that you started this? Like maybe a month ago or so?
which group, the
the
meetup?
Colorado, yeah, the REtoken
Yeah,
Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah, this is kind of embarrassing. We have yet to hold a live meetup, mostly because we've been on the road and a few other things. But yeah, people are just joining, and it'll be really interesting to see once we're back resettled in Colorado to kind of get the show on the road with live events, because Denver has a really good scene. There's a lot of Bitcoin clubs, crypto clubs, different clubs that we want to tap into and do some joint efforts with.
Yeah, so creating the opportunity, because I think the big value proposition that we here at REtoken can and should foster is really helping people with a Web3 onboarding experience. And the more that we can make that easy and foster, because at the end of the day, the more that we can help position people to be Web3 experts and like real estate tokenization, and the opportunity for us to partner with other whether it's projects or opportunities that are in line, and just make it a solid experience for people where they feel that they're receiving value, that they want to share this. And that's kind of like what I believe that we can do here with like the ambassador strategy. And I'm gonna Blackfire put some stuff together. He's in down under, and the timing is hard for him, but I wanted to kind of go through the stuff that he put. And this is too, like, I haven't had much conversation on this, but some people have probably noticed that there's a little bit of a different look and feel. And let me actually collapse this. And this is kind of trying to get some more synergy and alignment across our various channels. And this is a way. Discord is one channel where we've got content. The other one, like where we have started to create content, is on our Gitbook space, which sits at docs.retoken.info. And where I was going with this is something that I spoke a little bit about on our community call, the idea of a task force, and then we've got working groups and then teams here. And this is where I brought the previously the only chat that we had was the core team, and then I created these other channels here. And this is just to, again, allow some consistency from a channel standpoint, and then like the idea of having a content team and a dev team, and then and that's also reflected in a manner over here. I added a teams and a task force, and these line up in line. So like you just go down the list, we've got teams and then working groups and then task force, and just trying to make the experience, because like now that we're exploring Mighty Networks, and here's the thing is that I have absolutely no expectation that everybody is going to participate in all of these channels. And that's one of the things that became very apparent with where we're at from a content strategy, and with the shift that we made with our live stream strategy, is that made Discord be less of a community hub. So like the opportunity for us to have an event in Mighty Networks, for example, where somebody that hates Discord doesn't necessarily have to even step foot in Discord, where they can still plug in and contribute. So we're very early in our community evolution standpoint. We're still in season 0. We're going to be in season 0 likely until we do our Reg CF offering in Q3 of 2022. So almost another not quite a year, like and develop what works, and it's what meets the needs of the community members as far as having, because you definitely nailed it there, Amy, and this is one of the things where we're wanting to have increase the touch, and that's again one of the, I think, the expectations, and let's see if that's a bullet point. Let me add that as a bullet point. Role expectations. Help our community members feel like they can and are valued contributors. And I don't know if that's the best verbiage for that, but and that's one of the things too, where like during, and I can't remember if it was when we were trying to put our Gitbook application in place, but we developed a code of conduct here. And do you remember where that sits on our GitHub blurs? Oh, right here on the main page.
You're on mute. I'm on mute. Yeah.
So we have a code of conduct here. This is something that we put in place, I think, when we were applying for our Gitbook community plan. And this is something that might be an opportunity to, review and just add another lens on, because like, the opportunity to apply the same code of conduct and just make reference of that within the ambassador, because I would really like to have some type of formalized onboarding process where, like, whenever we figure out what this process is going to look like, at least for this first phase of it, that's the thing. Everything is a work in progress. So, like the opportunity to create something and then do a second version of it, or just plan on doing like a phase 1 or a phase 2 or a stage 1, stage 2 thing for this ambassadors program is very much there as well. And I don't know if we need to review this, but I'm going to just let's see.
Okay, I'm going to ask the dumb question. What does XYZ mean?
It's a placeholder for a bullet point.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't mean anything. It is a cool domain that I'd like to hear the backstory of how XYZ domain suddenly became cool in the crypto space, but
everyone in crypto walks around with their flies down. Womp womp.
I'm so confused. I have questions. I feel like I shouldn't ask them on a live stream.
Is that worthy of putting a timestamp here? Tyler is confused and she doesn't want to ask it on a live stream at 4:20 on Saturday afternoon.
Can you find out more at tylerisconfused@420.org?
It's already taken.
I didn't know that 420 had anything to do with marijuana when I was in college, and somebody wrote on my door, "Come over, it's 420." And so I came over that afternoon at 420. They're like, "Where were you this morning?" I was like, I came out, it's 420. What did you need? Why this specific time? And they said we wrote that on your board at 11 o'clock this morning because we wanted you to come over right then and smoke pot. I was like, well, you should have written that on my board. I'm confused and I don't smoke and I don't know what's happening right now. And that was the end of my budding friendship with them.
I think I already had this file saved. Let me open it up. So I did get distracted and I was wanting to open up the PDF that Blackfire made, and it looks basically like a compilation of stuff that we had already, but let me bring that open here on the screen. So, and I guess that's just a testament to how some of that stuff that we put in place was. And he basically just copied and pasted the overview as far as the REtoken vision, mission, the founding principles. And let's see, ambassadors must believe in the brand, vision, and principle of the project and actively contribute to the growth of the community. So it's very important to select the right person for the job. And that's another thing too, that I think that creating some measurable stuff, and again, this is all like some thoughts and just some work in progress, but like one of the opportunities is more contributions from a social media standpoint. And like one of the things that I put forward on the opportunities channel is because like ambassadors is somebody that I would expect to regularly tweet and like and retweet content that's coming through the REtoken official Twitter account, for example. And where I was going with that is I think that I can't remember if I put it in. Oh yeah, Tweet Shift. So this was a Discord bot that on that I think that we should explore. It's one that I think Polygon ecosystem DAO. Do you guys use this there? I think that's where it even showed up on my radar, but I don't exactly have any engagement with this. Do you, Poopster Crush, use this bot there and can speak to how it works, or anybody else?
Crush can, I believe.
I'm sorry, which bot?
The Tweet Shift.
Oh, I don't have any experience with it.
Okay. But it was one that was looking at using just to make it easier to,
I've used it before. It's very simple. Like I've used it in other servers. It's very basic, very simple.
So do you like it and you'd recommend it?
It's all right. I mean, if you want to post tweets in the Discord, it works for doing that.
Well, I mean, right now it's a manual process, and we've talked a little bit about Me6 in the past, and so and this was again a tangent on the conversation.
No.
Go ahead.
It auto posts. If you just tell it to follow somebody, it auto posts anytime they post, and it posts it in the Discord.
Yeah, super simple and basic, right?
Yeah.
So, I'll put that as a bullet point tomorrow. But that was a little bit of a tangent as far as just, maybe one of the expectations that ambassadors have is to regularly engage from a social media standpoint. So, and then like continuing through this document that Blackfire did. Let me get rid of that on the side. So who should be the better candidate for an ambassador role? And this is something, let's see, the enthusiast. So this is categorically like, I think like who should consider, better candidate. People who are very enthusiastic about REtoken's products and services, help the administration with content creation or posting about REtoken on their social media accounts. They should spread the word online, offline. Understanding brand ambassadors give new customers a reason to trust the brand because they inform others about products from their own perspective without pushing others to try or buy. A friend of the brand, the ambassadors will focus on promoting the project by driving conversions and/or augmenting brand awareness online and offline. As part of the program, ambassadors will be given inside information about the project's events, key brand messaging and campaign messaging, and basic guidelines to follow when representing the project. An ambassador must be able to easily reach out to the target audience and promote the project. So I think that this stuff is all good. Who can apply for the ambassador role? Anyone can apply to become an ambassador, so long as they can positively contribute to the project and share the same values, principles. REtoken DAO will be accepting applications from all content niches and industries. A message from REtoken DAO: please don't limit yourself. The great thing about our project is it is relevant to all people. We welcome anyone to get involved in our project. We also don't expect you to have a huge following, although it's always nice. We prefer quality over quantity. If this sounds interesting to you and you think you'd be a great fit for this role, please contact us at any time via email or Discord, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So I thought that this was a great effort put forward by Blackfire, and one of the decisions that we need to make, and I think until we get a better place is, and I created this section on our Gitbook page already, was the how to participate. And I think I showed this briefly earlier, but I'll bring it forward again here. Let's see, how to participate. And I put it under the teams category, and that's not where it necessarily has to sit, but right now, look, it's blank. So the opportunity for us to fill this in here during this, or decide on where we ultimately want this housed. And again, we're also looking at mighty networks as well, as far as incorporating that into a content strategy / community building strategy. So I'm going to stop talking, allow some other people to chime in on some thoughts here real quick. We've got a half an hour left, and anyway, I'm going to go on mute.
Okay, who's speaking?
You are now, Teresa. I was hoping to hear some feedback from you. I don't know if you were available or weren't able to speak earlier, but would love to hear your personal experience on being a regional chair of Fibery. While that doesn't necessarily hold an ambassador label, I think it kind of functionally falls within the same realm. So if you wanted to share with the group your experience of what that's looked like, because it's definitely relevant, especially since it's well, over to you, Teresa.
I'm not really sure how it's relevant. I'm looking at, I guess I need to get clear on other than you have people who represent an organization. So with their program that they have for the regional chairs, I guess, are you saying that their regional chair is akin to the ambassadors?
It seems to me, based upon the process and what it does that they do, I would kind of make it kind of an akin to an ambassador for the organization there.
Yeah, so with their program that they have right now, they're working on building out their web portal where everyone communicates and schedules meetings and advertises meetings. It's really a way for if you have meetings locally about real estate and blockchain technology, you can get it out there by using their national and international publications for advertising your local meetups. They're investing a lot into creating a good organizational wise web presence for people to engage and also to benefit from the research that they do in disseminating that locally. And so the chairs have the information that they have invested in for the research dealing with real estate tokenization to help them with their local meetings and sharing that information, and also access to the other experts in the industry that work with real estate tokenization, and being able to be guests, at their meetings. But I don't see a lot of activity in the United States, specifically for the chairs who are coordinating meetings. A lot of the chairs are really high up in their positions, like John Markunis. He does the blockchain gatherings in Florida. They had a really big one that went on that resulted in the Miami coin. The regional chair in Philadelphia here, he's, like expert in real estate commercialization and tokenization, and working with some big name companies. They're all really kind of too busy to do like meetups and things like that. However, as taking the role and having a common source and connecting with similar goals of expanding education of real estate tokenization and blockchain, with Fibery kind of as a foundation of that, I think it's a good way to kind of know who's who. These are the people who have dedicated a lot of their time and life in understanding real estate tokenization and sharing that information with other people. So, I frequently go to other chairs if I have questions about particular things. If I have questions about solar or clean energy, then I go to the experts in clean energy and tokenization that are chairs in Fibery, largely in other countries. For an ambassador program, I'm guessing you would probably want to model. I don't know if you have a specific question for me that maybe I can answer. I don't want to feel like I'm just rambling.
No, just was wanting to understand, your experience, because like I do think that it's very relevant as far as, because it seems pretty similar to because there's an onboarding process that you had to go through, and that's one of the things that I think that we should absolutely develop, is that this isn't just something that we're gonna like check a box and say, okay, well, you're a REtoken ambassador, and this is something that we need to guard through some type of application process. So understanding where people that want to contribute and, spending time with us here on a Saturday afternoon, so just having a better understanding, what the like positive experiences that you had there, and working on incorporating so that we, keep the positive experiences that we've all garnered through our various walks of life to implement that here in our own ambassador program, so that we can be proud of what we collectively create here for our own ambassador program. So that was kind of the what I was wanting, because that's an experience that's very fresh in your mind, because like you haven't been a Fibery regional chair for years. It's something that you just went through here, within the last how many ever months that it was that you've been a Fibery regional chair. So
my process as far as onboarding, I think it may be different than most folks, because I came highly recommended from the chair of the United States, John Markunis. So I didn't have to go through all of the interviews that people normally go through, because they said that the head guy already approved me. And so it was I still just met with them for, I guess, protocol. So you meet with people, they ask you questions, and you get to ask them questions. And then you meet with another group of people, more people as you move along the, the chain. So basically there's a vetting process on both ends to make sure that it's a good fit. I think that they should have in place more requirements of chairs, simply because I don't see a lot of activity from the chairs in the United States consistently. It's kind of like you can schedule meetings whenever you like, and then guidance on those meetings, which I'm working with a Chim on, who's the head of the International Fibery. And like everything is like in progress. So like presentation templates, they have like a basic one, but they're still working on, the graphics and everything for more updated ones that can really be used. So to be able to have a program like that and it be international, there's like a lot of things involved that different staff members have to do to help facilitate things on the ground. If I have a meeting here locally in Atlantic City, to prepare a presentation without the parent organization providing me with a template or a foundation would be kind of difficult. Otherwise, I'm just really preparing my own thing. And it not being reflective of the larger organization. So the larger organization, that being REtoken in this instance, an ambassador program, it would be good if there is an agreed upon presentation for the ambassadors to use if they do go speak somewhere, and what the rules would be on, modifications that can be made so that we know that the wording and language that they are communicating to their audience is consistent with what we would like to have shared with the public about who we are and how they can engage with us, to make sure that certain points are hit and not missed, and make sure that certain information is portrayed in a good way and in a clear way. So there's a process to that, with graphics professionals, people that are professionals in creating presentations, and then making sure that people have access to that information and be able to get it and know what to do when they are presented with an opportunity to speak somewhere to a group. So having those things at their disposal would be a good place to start, and maybe even a video that they could use for their meetups. So creating, again, the procedures for engagement and how they will engage, we would need to set time aside to make sure that we do that and not just kind of just say, here, go talk at meetups or onboard folks and assume that they will know exactly what to do. So having that laid out for them would be a job on our part. I think that would be a necessary thing to include in rolling a program like this out. Any more questions?
That's some fabulous input there,
Yeah.
Teresa.
I
heard somebody.
agree.
Go ahead, Amy.
I agree. That was really a very detailed, the way I see, requirement of what an ambassador should and representing a mission or a company, and that's a good thing. Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome. Did anyone else have any questions or comments for me in regards to that?
I just
So,
for clarification, what group or org was this year working on?
Okay, so I'm a regional chair for the Foundation for International Blockchain and Real Estate Expertise. It is a international nonprofit organization. Yeah, pull up the website.
Oh, okay, cool.
They have a go to the annual
Perfect.
event, Jason.
Cool. I'm just getting the notes in here. This is great.
Okay.
Thanks. Yep.
Where
Blockchain Real Estate Foundation. There it is. Foundation for the International Blockchain Real Estate Expert. Cool. Thank you.
So that report, the industry report, if you download that, it will give you a lot of articles that different chairs wrote. There's a lot of different topics of different papers, and they're all combined in the regional in the annual report rather. And so when I hold my local meetings, you know, you can just take like one report out of all of the reports that are submitted there and really break them down into multiple meanings. I took one report where it talks about the difference between the ERC levels and how that relates to the smart contracts and blockchains. And the difference between the ERC 20 and all of the different protocols and things of that nature. It gives you a point of reference and discussion that you can have with people about different things. And so that was one of the things where I was just, referencing when I was saying, if you have people who are going to go out and speak to groups and referencing your materials, like that document is a lot to digest in regards to real estate tokenization. What Fibre hasn't done yet is created PowerPoint presentations or presentation materials for us to use. So I just kind of had to create my own, which if there's hundreds of chairs across the world, it doesn't make sense for me to create my own when we're all really pretty much doing the same thing. And I think it should come from the parent organization. But, even just having that annual report, which is where they've started at, is a good thing to have to reference to. And so if our REtoken has, just a basic, annual document that is worked on, that pulls together information of who we are and what we're doing, and the state of the industry and the education that's offered and whatnot, and people will have a good reference point to reference people to, or at least to go off of, so that the dialogue is consistent.
So we've got 15 minutes left. I think now would be a good time to focus on what we want the next steps to look like as far as developing this program so that we can move this conversation forward. And I don't know if we want to delve any more into some specifics, but one of the things too, and to think about, I guess, is if we want to look at doing this in multiple stages, or if we want to just lean into one particular strategy. I think right now, getting something as far as helping with the onboarding process, I think would be some good direction on that. And that's and I don't know if we want to put on a calendar. This is something that we've spoken about, but we haven't actually put anything on the calendar as far as a intro orientation, onboarding type of a call. But I think that would be something that's some low-hanging fruit that we've already identified as an immediate opportunity and need. But I'm open to hear some other ideas as far as next steps. And I'm going to put that as a section here, what, and I'm going to put that as under this. Well, I guess we're already under this bullet point, but let me just put it right up here. Next steps.
Oh, did Amy want to talk about her ambassador experience?
Oh yeah, the research.
Yeah, I have applied in several, what you call this, companies. One of them is doing good. I haven't heard back from them. I don't know what type of vetting process they have. And I've done a research on ambassador programs, and I was going to tell Jason before that it is quite intensive. And hearing Teresa say what she said, it's kind of like matched on the requirements of what an ambassador should be. So we should not take this lightly. And if we are going to develop a program, like Teresa said, it should come from the parent company. So it's not like somebody in New York is doing something different, somebody in Cali is doing something different. So really, it if we have like a team that would put this together and then present it and see what everybody thinks, that would be a good direction. And I think you've already started putting a team together. And I don't know what the other companies are looking for when they vet people to be ambassadors, but I haven't heard back from any of them that I have applied for. And I think I applied for one of the ones that you sent before. It starts with the letter A. I can't remember. But you sent a link and I applied for that, but I haven't heard. Did you get it, Jason? Did they take you
Which one are you
in as
talking
an
about?
ambassador? I think it starts with the letter A. You sent me a link and I applied in it.
Let me
And
let me
then
look at this.
another one is doing good, which is it's a nonprofit, I think. Uh, and it seems like they have a
Oh,
good ambassador program.
are you talking about Akala?
Yeah, I think I applied for that one.
Yeah, I
But
haven't heard anything on
that's what I said.
Akala either.
So I don't know if they don't have enough people to look into the applications or they didn't
I think
make
it's
it,
that
or I don't know.
it's entirely possible that they're just like super busy and or super
Yeah.
swamped because they just finished here like November 18th, I think is when the Polkadot parachain auction concluded for, so they're going like live
Yeah,
on their, so they've
that's
got a lot going on. But
that's
yeah, I do agree, Amy, that we need this to be well thought out. And going back here, like that we can't be paralyzed because like one of the things too that I've seen happen is it seems like that there's the opportunity to overcomplicate things, and like improving our onboarding experience is something that we identified as a need, and the reality is that we haven't done a substantial amount of effort to improve the REtoken onboarding process. And I really have the belief and the expectations, and this is something that identified here is like help with the onboarding process. So like going back to this opportunity here of establishing like what, here we've got 10 minutes left during our working group. So like one of the things that I believe is something solid that we could put into place and, you know, work on creating like, you know, is with a regular recurrence is establish our own and I don't know what would be the best way to call it, whether it's a onboarding call or an orientation call or a introduction call, but just having that on our calendar on a regular basis. And ideally, it's something that we can and should have recorded and work on polishing so that it's something that people can plug into automatically and then skip. But the opportunity of having the personal connection, like you said earlier in the call, Amy, and just start establishing relationships with people and helping them feel like whatever skills, talents, and abilities that they can bring to our project, that those contributions are welcomed and encouraged. So, and I don't know if this is something that we should just make a decision on and schedule, or I would really like to see us here. I would feel good about our working group getting this scheduled on the REtoken calendar. And let me open the REtoken calendar here now. I think we've talked about having it on a Tuesday or Thursday, but open to hear everybody's thoughts here. Let me look at this next week, week 49. Oh, and this is something that I was talking about earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and add this here, like content team initial call. And I'm gonna just put this for 1 hour.
I think, Jason, if we can address the basic questions of who, what, how, why of the ambassador program, then we're basically, can approach people and talk about it. To begin with, since you don't want, while we're building this or something, or while we're trying to fine tune it, those basic questions needs to be like really the foundation of this program. If we can get that down there, and also what do we have to offer them? That's basically the main question that they would ask when we try to tell them about our program.
Yeah, and this is one of the things on the what do we have to offer specifically, Amy. We've got some initial bullet points here, like title, having the ambassador title. And that's the thing that I think that can provide, because we do want this to be a recognized and identifiable, and it's something that we want to have that's a respectable designation here, where it's not just like somebody can fog a mirror and then they can become a REtoken ambassador. And then, like, one of the other things too, Discord roles, exclusive NFTs. Mayor earlier in the call mentioned the opportunity of developing some swag. That was and that's something that I've seen commonly used for incentivizing. And the other one too is earn more REtoken. This is something that I spoke about, my expectation for the way that we'll be architecting this. And this will probably, I'm going to even bump this up to the first bullet point here. I think that will be the biggest program benefit, and that's something where, like participating in the ambassador circle, and that's one of the things. So like the other, so going back to this next action here, and I don't know from a timing standpoint what will make the most sense, and I guess that this is something that we can continue to have a pulse on as far as from a timing standpoint. And as we're looking to grow like the community internationally, I mean, we've got a heavy focus on the US right now, but there's interest increasingly on a global basis and an opportunity. So where I was going with that is these evening times that we have a good portion of our events aren't necessarily conducive. And I think normally the best time for to cater towards the international people is here during the AM hours. So I'm kind of thinking right here, this time frame would be a good one. This is Thursday at 10 a.m. I think that we should just put that in that time and kind of see what it looks like. And that'll give us more opportunity to contemplate what we want this initial and what we wanted to call it. Like I'm gonna call it a REtoken onboarding call. And I think right now the other thing too that we have is and we spoke about this before, is potentially like rebooting the Discord. And it's not something that I think makes sense right now, but just kind of planting that seed and with everybody as well. So REtoken onboarding call, our first one. So go ahead. I hear somebody's got an open mic.
Oh, sorry, hot mic. No, I guess some input I'd probably want to give on the onboarding call is that it should be short and sweet. I would say as little as 15 minutes, but absolutely not longer than half hour, because just want to get people, and we should probably talk about what topics we should discuss. Obviously, be like walk people through the Discord. That would be the number one thing, and then also the docs and the GitHub and everything, and then briefly talk about the opportunities and whatnot.
So that's some great input, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time here on a Saturday. We've got 3 minutes left. I don't want to necessarily schedule with everything that we've got on the calendar here. I'll feel good, like I said, getting this first orientation call. Do we want to just incorporate that into like the defining of the like create a section here and just do create or REtoken onboarding call, and then just take the filling in some of these details offline?
Yeah.
And let me go back and look at the REtoken calendar here real quick. So yeah, we've got, and this content team, that's one that I'm going to put on the schedule on the Seshbot, talk about that. And then we've got the REtoken onboarding call, putting this here at this time. The other thing too, wanting to get on with some regular cadence is like a clubhouse. I'm going to go ahead and put this here on this time, a REtoken clubhouse. We can talk about this on our core team call on Sunday, but this is definitely something I miss, clubhouse conversations, and wanting to get some windows and some opportunities to talk more about real estate tokenization on Clubhouse. We've got 1 minute left. Does anybody want to chime in on some final thoughts here for this first ambassadors working group? We'll and we can figure out when to host our next one. I'm thinking like the following week 50. And this is, again, like can be an ongoing work in progress. I think that we really need to have this be well thought out as far as like when we want to make our go live, and as we're looking at Mighty Networks and like an email tool, and really just looking at leveling up what we're doing here at REtoken from an overall content standpoint and just from a professionalism standpoint. Final thoughts, anybody? Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, I just want to tell you guys I'm super excited that this group is so great that people want people keep joining it, and people are stepping up to be ambassadors for it. I mean, just that says a lot about the quality of this group and all of you guys, what you're building. And I'm just excited to be part of it. I think this is so fun. There's so many groups that I'm in. I'm kind of like, yeah, it's fine. I don't go out and promote them because I don't care. And the fact that everybody's like, this thing is so important and so good that it needs to have a program to promote it is really exciting.
Thank you for everybody's time. DGen is kind of down, but I will send the follow-up as soon as I can.
On the DGen conversation, I think that there's an update that's available because it seemed that Discord changed some policy. So I don't know if that's if we've put that, because I've personally claimed some POAPs in the last couple of days on some other Discords, and it seems that it's went to it's kind of some interesting workflow, but I think that there's an update to the bot for that. But we can take those conversations offline. I love the time that we spend here and love what we're creating. And one final thought too, and this is something that we'll talk about during the core team, is really like how that we want to speak and position from a content creation standpoint, what a lot of people would probably consider competition. And I don't really believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. And I think that the opportunity for real estate tokenization projects and us talking about that and being like holding a strong belief as far as the foundation that we're laying and the direction that we're going in, and that we're committed to the long-term path and the long-term vision here. Because at the end of the day, 280 trillion, folks. I mean, that's a lot. And cryptocurrency, like the market cap, it's like 3 trillion. So the opportunity of doing this right and really creating something that will stand the test of time as the underlying technology may ebb and flow. And that all happens here through, hanging out on Zoom at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday when you could be out, Christmas shopping or doing whatever people do on Saturday afternoon instead of hanging out here on a Zoom to, make a dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs said so eloquently. But thanks again, everybody. Thanks, Amy, for the POAPs. Thank everybody for participating. We've got our core team call tomorrow at 3. Lots of agenda to go through, and have a good rest of your Saturday, everybody.
Yep. Thanks. See ya.
Good night.
Thanks.